Imagine this scenario. It is Monday morning. You sit down at your desk. The coffee is hot. The to-do list is ready. You tell yourself, today's the day I actually execute. Today is the day I change my life. You open your laptop. You are ready. But then, your phone screen lights up. Just a small flash. Or maybe it doesn't even light up. Maybe you just feel a sudden, itching phantom urge to check it. Just for a second, you tell yourself, just one quick check to see if anyone emailed. You pick it up. You unlock the screen. You open Instagram, or TikTok, or Twitter. You scroll. You laugh at a video. You read a comment section that makes you angry. You check a text message. Then, you look up at the clock. 2 hours have passed. The coffee is stone cold. The document on your screen is still blank. And you feel a heavy, sinking sensation in your chest. You feel disgusted with yourself. You feel like a failure. Does this sound familiar? If it does, you are not alone. In fact, you are part of the 99% of people who are currently fighting a losing battle against their own biology. Here is the brutal question I want you to answer. Why is it physically painful to sit down and do the work that could make you a millionaire, or get you that degree, or build that body? But it is effortless to spend 3 hours watching strangers dance on the internet. Why does your brain resist your dreams but welcome your distractions? Most people think the answer is laziness. They think they lack discipline. They look at successful people, the top 1% of performers, and think, that person just has more willpower than me. I am just broken. I am just weak. I used to think that too, but I was wrong. And you are wrong. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are chemically hijacked. The truth is, your brain is not designed for the modern world. It is an ancient machine trying to navigate a digital landscape that has been engineered by thousands of the smartest engineers in Silicon Valley with one single goal: to hack your neurochemistry, specifically, to hijack a molecule called dopamine. Right now, your brain is drowning. You are in a state of constant overstimulation that makes focus biologically impossible. But there is a way out. In the next few minutes, I am not going to give you generic advice like turn off your notifications or make a schedule. I am going to explain the deep neuroscience of the dopamine baseline. I will show you exactly why you feel that resistance, that mental friction when you try to work. And, most importantly, I am going to teach you the exact 10-minute protocol that the top 1% use to reset their brain chemistry on command. This is the secret to entering a state of deep flow, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. If you are tired of ending your day feeling like you wasted it, pay close attention. We are about to look under the hood of your own mind. Let's begin. To understand why you cannot focus, we first need to clear up a massive misunderstanding about dopamine. Most people think dopamine is about pleasure. They think it is the chemical of happiness. That is completely wrong. Dopamine is not the chemical of enjoyment. It is the chemical of craving. It is the chemical of desire. It is the molecule of more. When you look at a piece of chocolate cake or see a notification badge on your phone, dopamine is what makes you reach for it. It is the engine that drives you to seek rewards. But here is the catch. Your brain does not care if the reward is good for you. It only cares that it is easy to get. Imagine your brain has a baseline level of dopamine. Think of this like a pool of water. For you to feel motivated, for you to feel like doing anything, you need waves in that pool. You need spikes above the baseline. In the natural world, our ancestors had to work very hard for these spikes. They had to hunt for days to get food. They had to build shelter to feel safe. The effort came first. The dopamine spike came second. This is crucial. The reward was tied to effort. But today, we live in a world of cheap, unearned dopamine. This is where the first type of person comes in. Let's call them the consumer. This is probably you right now. The consumer wakes up and immediately blasts their brain with free spikes. You check Instagram. Spike. You watch a 15-second video of a cat. Spike. You check the news. Spike. You eat a sugary donut. Spike. You are flooding your system with high-intensity rewards without expending any effort. It feels good in the moment. But here is the mechanism that nobody tells you about. And this is what is destroying your ability to work. There is a biological law called homeostasis. It means balance. Your brain desperately wants to stay balanced. So, every time you have a huge spike of dopamine from scrolling on your phone, your brain has to compensate. It slams on the brakes. It creates an equal and opposite reaction to bring you back down. But it doesn't just bring you back to baseline. It drops you below baseline. This is the pain state. This is the come down. Have you ever noticed that after an hour of scrolling TikTok, you don't feel happy? You feel numb. You feel slightly anxious. You feel empty. That is your dopamine dropping below baseline. You are technically in a state of chemical withdrawal. And this is exactly the moment you try to start working. You put down the phone and look at your spreadsheet or your textbook, and your brain screams in protest. Why? Because the work offers a low, slow release of dopamine. It is like eating plain broccoli after you just ate a pound of pure sugar. Compared to the hyperstimulation of the internet, the work feels boring. It feels painful. This brings us to the second type of person, the fried brain. If you abuse cheap dopamine for long enough, your brain actually changes its physical structure. This is called downregulation. Your brain sees that it is getting flooded with dopamine every day, and it thinks, wow, this is too much noise. I need to turn down the volume. So it actually removes dopamine receptors. Think about that. Your brain physically destroys its own ability to feel motivation. This is why you have brain fog. This is why you can't read a book for more than 2 paragraphs without your eyes glazing over. It is not that you have ADHD. It is that you have burned out your receptors. You have desensitized yourself to the subtle joys of real effort. You have trained your brain that if a reward doesn't come in 3 seconds, it is not worth pursuing. But here is the scary part. It is not just about being bored. It is about something neuroscientists call limbic friction. The limbic system is the primitive, emotional part of your brain. When you try to switch from a high dopamine activity, like scrolling, to a low dopamine activity, like working, you create massive friction. Your limbic system resists. It feels like you are trying to push a heavy car uphill in neutral. It is physically uncomfortable. I used to experience this every single day. I would sit there, staring at the cursor blinking on the screen, and I would feel a genuine tightness in my chest. I felt an overwhelming urge to just run away, to just open a new tab, to just do anything else. I thought I was weak, but realize this, that pain you feel, that resistance, it is not you. It is your biology fighting to get back to the cheap source. You are an addict going through withdrawal, trying to perform complex surgery. Of course you can't focus. So, is it hopeless? Are we all just destined to be mindless zombies scrolling until we die? No, because just as your brain has the plasticity to downregulate receptors, it has the plasticity to grow them back. You can reverse this process, but you cannot do it by just trying harder. Willpower is a battery, and your battery is dead. You need a protocol. You need a system that bypasses the limbic friction. There is a specific method used by elite performers, by that top 1%, to bridge the gap between the cheap dopamine life and the deep work state. It does not require you to become a monk. It does not require you to throw away your phone forever. It requires 10 minutes of specific, intentional discomfort. What happens next is the difference between a life of consumption and a life of creation. This brings us to the third type of person, the architect. The architect is not superhuman. They have the same smartphone as you. They have the same primitive brain that craves easy rewards. They feel the exact same wall of resistance, that limbic friction, when they sit down to work. But there is one critical difference. The consumer interprets boredom as a signal to stop. The architect interprets boredom as a gatekeeper. Here is the secret. The pain of focus, that agitation you feel when you put the phone away, does not last forever. Neuroscientists have found that this transition phase, this withdrawal symptom, typically lasts only about 10 to 15 minutes. This is the barrier. Most people hit this wall and bounce back to their phones. The top 1% simply wait it out. So here is the 10-minute protocol. I want you to try this immediately after this video ends. Step 1. Put your phone in another room. not in your pocket, not face down. Another room. Step 2. Sit at your desk and close your eyes. For 2 minutes, do absolutely nothing. This is the hardest part. You will feel the urge to move, to check, to distract. Let that feeling wash over you. Do not fight it. Just observe it. You are letting the waves in your dopamine pool settle down. You are resetting your baseline. Step 3. Open your eyes and start your work. But here is the trick. Tell yourself you are only allowed to work for 10 minutes. That is it. If you want to quit after 10 minutes, you can. This hacks your brain. The limbic system is afraid of a mountain, but it is not afraid of a pebble. 10 minutes is a pebble. But here is what will happen. Once you push through that initial 10-minute window, the friction vanishes. Your brain realizes that the cheap dopamine is not coming. It stops screaming. It accepts the new reality. And suddenly, the work becomes engaging. You start to find a rhythm. You enter the flow state. You have switched your fuel source from the sugar rush of social media to the slow-burning, high-energy fuel of deep accomplishment. You need to understand that focus is a muscle. Every time you resist the urge to scroll, you are doing a rep. You are physically strengthening the neural pathways in your prefrontal cortex that control impulse. So, you have a choice to make right now. You can close this video, open TikTok, and flood your brain with another dose of cheap, meaningless pleasure. You can continue to be a spectator in your own life, watching other people live their dreams while yours die in the silence of procrastination. Or, you can embrace the boredom. You can step into the friction. You can choose to be an architect. The next 10 minutes are going to pass anyway. You can spend them building your future, or you can spend them escaping it. The choice is yours. But listen to me closely. Mastering focus is only the first step. Once you have reclaimed your attention, you need to know exactly where to direct it to get maximum results. In the next video, I am going to reveal the ghost mode strategy that high-level entrepreneurs use to double their productivity in half the time. It is controversial, but it works. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you are subscribed so you get notified the second it drops. Now, go do your 10 minutes.